All right, now recording. So again, reminder, Fridays at noon, if you do miss a class and need to touch base with me, and I will be posting video recordings of our classes roughly around Thursdays, okay? Let's go ahead and get started. So when we ended on Monday, we started working on the discussion board forum that you had on Canvas. Let me get to my Canvas here and my share screen, and I'll share my Canvas with you. Might have to navigate a little bit here. Let me, I think, hold on. Let me find the right tab. There's Canvas. I've got to get to this class. Hold on just a second. Let me scroll down to this class. And you guys should be able to see my screen. Let's see. As you can see, I've got quite a few classes here. Here's this one. Here we are. So when you go into the homepage on Canvas, you've got your welcome and your syllabus. And then you got a bunch of other stuff that it may just take a little while to browse through. I'm going to minimize this a bit on my screen so you can see a fuller picture. Okay. This is, yeah, actually all of these, good. I blocked all of them. You shouldn't be able, I'll open them as we need them. Okay. So your screen should be a lot smaller than mine. You shouldn't, all of those things that you see blocked out, that's what we're going to achieve by the end of the quarter. But this is the only one you should see. So make sure you've read the syllabus. Make sure you're ready to ask me any questions. And then below that, you should see a bonus quiz. Okay. Some of you may have already taken it. I don't know. But when you click on it, it's going to, you can click on it, but be ready. It's going to start the timer. It's a 15-minute timed quiz. So you need to have read the syllabus ahead of time. I recommend if you're able to print it or either keep it popped up, you can do two screens. You can pop it up on your screen and have it where you can scroll through. But if you've read it at least and you kind of know, you're going to have good familiarity with it. Another hint, remember that if your professor ever highlights anything on the syllabus, you may have noticed like certain things, I put a highlight on that. There's a good chance that's going to be one of the quiz questions, right? Okay, so that's a tip for your bonus quiz. If you don't do so well on it, it's not the end of the world. It's bonus. It's not going to count against you, okay? But it'll help you out, say for the paper we're going to write. If you're not as good of a writer or whatever, you have some bonus points to throw in there. This one is still not published and it's actually canceled. I visited with my supervisor, and this particular survey, they have to pay fees for it. And they have found a different survey that they want us to do instead. So this one is canceled, and it's the whole department, all of the classes. They're not doing this survey anymore. We're going to do a different one instead. And I'll just keep you posted about that. And I'll make sure I post it, talk about it, get you started in class, and give you plenty of time when we do. So you don't have this for homework anymore. So the only other homework you have, so you're going to read the syllabus, you're going to do the bonus quiz, and then the only other homework we have is our discussion, right? And it involves watching a video. I'm going to lead us to that right now. So if you go to the discussions, and again, there's kind of a lot on this screen, but we have this one right here at the top, the week 1 journal. And I'll always label it by week so that you can find it easily. Week 1, introduction and asking for help. We talked about the other stuff. I think we got to the intros. We talked about our intros, subjects we were and weren't good at. And I'll never be able to call on everybody. I don't know if we got to this second part about negative experiences and positive experiences whenever you did have to ask for help. We'll talk about that in a little bit though. And this is the part I want us to focus on. And this is our 11-minute TED video. It's a little bit complicated when I try to like stream it through the screen. Sometimes it freezes and things don't work very well. So what I'm going to do is allow you, if you need to either temporarily log off and then navigate on your phone to find this on TED, or if you're able to stay, you know, whatever works best for students. Okay. And I'll give us like 15 minutes in case it takes you a few minutes to get there, but I'm going to show you what the video is. It's TED video. Here's the title, Asking for Help is a Strength, Not a Weakness. Here's her name, Michelle Sullivan. If you go to Google, it'll pop right up, but I'm going to show you the tab. Here she is. Okay. And she's going to share a little bit about some of her life experiences, but can you guys see this picture? Okay. When you type it in on your screen, asking for help is a strength, not a weakness. Michelle Sullivan, and this is what she looks like. Okay. So if you're able to stay on, great. If you need to log off, it is 9:37 right now. I'm going to say 9:50, 13 minutes, 9:50 be ready to jump back in and we'll talk about the video. Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to pause recording right now.
Give back by offering their support and offering their kindness to people. Because, like she said, you never know what someone is going through. So, that's the way I saw the like how she.
I think that's one of her best quotes. You never know what somebody is going through, right? And she also talked about she disagrees that you can't always walk in someone else's shoes, right? Yeah. She disagrees with that. She thinks like really there's no way for you to know exactly what someone else is going through, but you just need to be understanding and supportive, okay? Yeah. I agree. I think that's one of the better quotes. Anybody else want to jump in? Thank you for going first. No volunteers? I had a very good Spanish professor. She was my favorite professor many years ago. She'd say, si no hay voluntarios, hay víctimas. It means if there's not a volunteer, there's going to be victims. So I'm going to call on someone. Okay, JD, any thoughts?
Yeah, asking for help can be hard, but I liked her method of overloading the situation with positive experiences afterwards.
Because they're not always positive, right? And we'll get into that in just a second. I'm sure many of you, unfortunately, when I've worked with a lot of students, many students, I would say over 50%, over half, I've been teaching for 11 years, over half of my students have reported having a bad experience with a teacher in the past. And I'm thinking, wow, how did that person even get hired? And teachers, we do go through a lot of stress. Sometimes you have to hold the phone out this far if you have an angry parent or something like that who's like yelling into the phone at you or whatever. So it's a two-way street, and you guys maybe have all seen that one or two students in the class that are just rude to everybody and the teacher's trying to be polite or whatnot. So I'm sure you've had some different experiences, but it amazes me how many students, when they've answered that question about a negative experience, will talk about a teacher. And I think that's a shame, unfortunately, to the profession. If you're going to be a teacher and you're called to be a teacher, you should try to help students have as many positive experiences as possible. That's my opinion. Okay. Let me hear from Kylie. Share something from the video.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't really have anything specific. I just liked how she was just telling personal experiences. It's like it opens your mind to what other people go through, because you don't really think about the challenges that someone in a scooter like that would go through, or how her height challenges her every day. It just like opens your mind to other people.
She was talking about trying to go to a job interview and the building wasn't set up right with a ramp. So she was figuring out, how am I even going to get into the building, and things like that. And you just don't think about it. But she's sharing things that, she realizes, or if she's going to travel to go speak somewhere, making sure the airplane and everything is all, like how complicated that is. So it's just little things that maybe others would not think about. Yeah. Toyi?
In the video, when she said when she was a kid and all the other kids would question her height, and I feel like I have a similar experience to that, since I was a really short kid at the time, and I always get the attention of being small, and like how many challenges I had to go through. I can't reach some stuff like for library books and stuff, and like I always have to ask for help. But being a shy kid, I never really asked. I just tried myself. I started climbing in order to get the books, but I always get in trouble for that. But honestly, with her height and like her disability of like movement, it really shows that there's a lot of people out there with either the same disability or similar disability out there who always asks for help. And honestly, and it's of course, like she says herself, asking for help is a strength, not a weakness.
And she focuses, I think, as JD was saying, on the positive experiences she's had, traveling to other countries even, and people are just so helpful. Like if can you help me get my bags? Can you, and I think sometimes in our society, sometimes news media, things like that can be a little toxic, you know, like negative, 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 versus focusing on seeking out those people in our environment who are going to be supportive of us. And one of the things that the textbook, once you guys get your textbook, talks about is the importance of sticking through college and the tough times, is identifying who you have as your support system. A good friend you can count on if your car breaks down, you know, or who can help you, or if you're taking the bus, who can help you get here to from point A to point B. If you can't pay your rent and you need to move out, who can let you couch surf? You know, having and identifying a network of people who can help you out in tough situations, because they always occur in college. That's important, and that's something that the textbook will talk about later. But yeah, I think too, I like what you bring up there, Toyi, and please correct me if I'm not pronouncing it quite right. Please feel free to just jump in and correct me. Is that good?
Yeah, it's close enough.
How do you say?
It's two Yi, like the number 2 and then Yi.
Okay, Toyi. Okay,
Yeah.
very cool, Toyi. So one thing I like that you point out there, she shared an experience when she was in kindergarten. Do you guys think she's probably went through way worse experiences though?
Probably, yeah.
Do you think she probably dealt with bullying or dealt with? Yeah,
for sure. Because
she
I
did.
have, for sure.
She probably did. And she kind of hinted at it. She talked about not being able to understand another person's curiosity or an adult's ignorance. So she's probably dealt with adults who were ignorant or rude or even flat out ugly. She probably has been through some hard things, I would guess. And I think her ability to not walk around as a bitter person, or not travel and speak as an angry or bitter person, and to be able to let go of that, but also learn the importance of seeking out those people in the world that I know are gonna help me. You know, I think that's been a healthy perspective for her to take in life. All right, Austin, you're up last. Give us some words of wisdom from the video.
Same as Kylie. I don't have anything really specific. I just liked pretty much everything about the video because I've been bullied my whole entire life as well. So with her saying that asking for help and stuff and not being in everybody's shoes really sticks with me, because I've tried to be in other people's shoes and try to understand why I've gotten bullied my whole life, and I could never really figure it out. But I just really liked her video overall.
Okay. If you don't mind sharing, I don't want to put you on the spot. Were you able to find teachers who would help and support you, or not so much? Curious.
My dance coaches were always the people that I went to for help.
Okay. So you always were at least able to identify a couple of adults to try to help you. Didn't eliminate it completely, but help you get through those really hard experiences. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. All right. So I think it's a good note to start the quarter with, Michelle's video. I also want to emphasize this, and we're going to be focusing on this next week as well, as we start the first chapter in the book, resources. So she didn't specifically talk about, make sure you know where the financial aid office is located. Make sure you know, but as we start navigating college, and again, the reason that this is a required course that they want you to take it is we want you to succeed. We don't want you to be here at SCC for 5 years to try to get a degree. We want you to try to move through and be successful so that you can start working or transfer to a university, whichever one you want to do, sooner without getting stuck. We want you to try to get through everything. And so one of the emphases of the textbook we're going to be looking at are important locations on campus to be able to find and know how to get to and know how to access, so that you have got the tools you need. So in addition to finding key people in your life that you know can help you get through a tight spot or support you when bad things are going on, you need to be able to know how to get around on campus. Who do I call for this? Who do I get in touch with for that, etc. And that part of it with our campus, I will be going through with you. Okay. So does anybody have any questions? I'm going to share my screen again. Remember, we have a required discussion topic on Canvas. Let me navigate back to Canvas here. I think I'm in screen share. No, I'm not. I'm screen sharing again now. Let me get back to the Canvas page. There's our discussion topic again. And so remember, you just go over here to discussions, and then you'll see the week 1 journal. And then you're going to have this where you're talking about. In order to get credit, so we worked on this one last time. We'll talk about this one in just a second. We'll be a little bit out of order here, but 4 to 6 sentences. So 3 different paragraphs, 4 to 6 sentences to answer this question, 4 to 6 to answer this, and then 4 to 6. And all of you have verbally shared about the video anyway. I can give you full points if I see 3 little, they don't have to be grammatically correct or anything, but just type some answers for all 3 of those. Here's the last one. We will talk about it together, and then I'll let you go for the day. Negative responses. I don't want to kill the energy here, but I think it's important just to talk about, unfortunately, those haters that are out there in the world that we've maybe run into a time or two. Does anyone feel brave enough, because it's asking you to think about an experience where you actually got a negative response? Anybody feel brave enough to share that first?
I can go first.
Okay, thank you, Kylie.
So at school in high school, we had this substitute teacher, and he was kind of known for kind of like picking on kids. I don't know why, but he would target kids and just like be super mean and send them to the office for like no reason at all. So he was subbing for our math teacher, and I already struggle with math as it is. So I asked him a question, and he basically just snapped at me and told me to figure it out and read the book. And I was just like, I just wanted help. And figured going to the teacher for help was like what you're supposed to do, but he made me feel like I was wrong.
I can't promise that it won't happen in college. In general, I'm very pleased. I've worked in several different places in the world. I'm originally from Mississippi. I've traveled a little bit as an English teacher. I've been to different places. Honestly, I can truly say this. SCC has been one of 2 of the best places that I've ever worked. And it's because I do feel like they've done a really good job in their hiring process of seeking out people who aren't going to treat you that way. So hopefully if you have a math class and you ask the professor a question, they're not going to say, leave me alone, look at the book. They're going to hopefully try to help you. We also do have tutoring resources on campus, and there's actually bonus points I'll give you guys later in the class if you use tutoring for any of your other classes. Even if you don't feel like you need it, just go by there and try it out and, you know, get that help that you need. Okay.
I also don't mind him like telling me to like look in the book, but it's just like his attitude. He like
Rude.
snapped at me angrily. Yeah, so
He was also getting paid to be there that day. So whether you
True.
are a barista at a coffee shop or whether you're a substitute teacher or whatever, if you're getting paid to help students with their work, you know, that's my approach. Okay. But yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. Does anybody else want to share a negative experience? And I know some of these are super painful. So if you don't feel like talking about it with the group, it's okay.
I think I have a good one, and it kind of ties into the TED Talk video. When I was in 4th grade, it was going to be my first time doing a presentation, because in 4th grade we were doing a lot of projects, and we were just starting to present by ourselves, you know, start getting ourselves ready to go into 5th grade, 6th grade, and then middle school, whatever. And I really, at that time, I really liked the colors purple and black. So on my presentation, I did like an ombre background with purple and black, and then my letters were black. So when it was time to present, no one could see them. And so my 4th grade teacher started laughing. We were like, oh, she's so nervous. She's so nervous.
Ooh.
And so ever since that day, I feel like anytime I'm gonna present something or anytime I'm talking, if I feel like someone is looking at me a certain way, like they're judging me, and so I start getting nervous. And I feel like it ties into with Michelle, because she said ever since that day she didn't like going out in public, and she would always hide. And so I feel like that's kind of the same thing that I went through.
I'm sorry again that it was a teacher. We do have a presentation in this class.
Yeah.
But I will silence myself on Zoom and won't be, and not that I would say anything like that anyway. Wow. How many of you how many of you feel like you got great presentation skills? That's okay.
I don't
Me
ever see
neither. Me neither. I see some of these professors that have these like really beautiful PowerPoints. Mine, like the information is there, but it's usually kind of long and you have to kind of like read, like having all these little bells and whistles and you can just fly right through it. I've never been the best PowerPoint person. So I feel like even as a professor, my presentations aren't the best, and I appreciate my students for just being willing to like politely ask me a question like, Miss Wilson, this part wasn't clear, I don't understand, or I'm lost, versus attacking me and saying like, why didn't you have that? This is, you messed this up on Canvas or something like that. I do get those emails occasionally like, Miss Wilson, this wasn't on Canvas like you said it would be. This link wouldn't work. Like that type of attitude. So we all struggle with presenting is what I'm getting at. And I think hopefully as we move to our presentation in this class, we're going to be with a group where everyone's going to be respectful, right? And you'll get to have hopefully a positive experience to offset the negative one that that you've had. We're running a little bit short on time, so I would like I'm always curious as we do the discussion forum. Remember, you'll share something negative, but positive experiences. It doesn't have to be about a teacher. It can be, at work or somewhere else. Has anybody had a super positive experience where you did have to ask for help on something and someone just really helped you? Not really, Austin? Not too much. Okay, well, we're glad you're here at SCC, and I will try to specifically direct you guys to a few of the people on campus that I know to be helpful, okay? Tuyi, have you had any positive experiences?
Yeah. So, being a English as a second language student, I've in my elementary school years, I always struggled with English. Right now I don't have an accent anymore, which is probably the best thing ever. When I had a ELL teacher, she put her best to translate, dumbed down English pretty much to me, and that's like probably the best experience I ever had, since I always usually go to my parents to get translations since they knew English more than I did back in the day, and like ever since then, I've been in ELL for years. Even after high school, I'm still in it. Just trying to improve my English, and that's probably the best positive experience I ever had.
Well, and honestly, the gift of being bilingual, I think it's unfortunate that in American schools, we don't emphasize other languages like we should. Do you mind sharing what your first language is?
My first language is Hmong. It's not really well known, but it's most of the people came from Laos, Thailand, Western China, and
Okay. Awesome. I taught in Saipan for a year, which it's actually a Commonwealth of the United States. But it's an island out in the Pacific. You guys could Google it and look it up. It's 5 miles wide and 14 miles long. And we did have quite a few students who were coming from Thailand, a couple from Laos, and it's such a barrier. To come to the United States with no English, right? But trying to come and get, started. And in some cases, they might be the first in their whole family that actually is able to try to master that hurdle of another language, etc. So I respect you. Hats off to you. You're gonna find that it's actually a gift. Someday in your life, you'll be in a career where your bilingualism will be an asset, I think. Yeah. All right. JD, do you have a positive experience you could share? And then we'll close it out for the day.
I don't really know if I have anything specifically. I've always had really positive experiences with my teachers. Good
to hear. Austin, have you been able to think of anything or not too much? You did have those dance team instructors that at least helped you out a time or two, huh?
Yeah, I've always asked for help and from my dance teachers and my parents, and I've always gotten positive from them, but like other people, not so much.
Okay. Well, I will start naming names next week on the call of key people to know on campus and key offices. And if you go to this office, try asking for this person. Okay. And so that you guys can navigate your experience here at STC very well. Final announcements as a reminder, no survey is due and it's not even open on your screen. You saw the survey on my teacher screen, but it's locked. You can't even access it because they've canceled that for this quarter. Your 2 homework assignments are reading the syllabus and doing the bonus quiz. Okay. And if you don't do so well on it, don't panic. It's just bonus points. The other assignment is you need to do those 3 paragraphs in the discussion board. Okay. And we've kind of worked on all of that together. I'm an English teacher, but this class, we don't worry about our discussions being grammatically correct. If you mess something up, you'll still get the credit, the 10 points, you'll get your points. Okay. Just for participating in that discussion. Okay. Have a great day and a great weekend. Remember, Sunday night at 11:59 is the deadline. So don't wait until that right then and then run into problems or whatever. Go ahead and just get those paragraphs done for your discussion and your quiz. And then if you need me, Friday at noon, I'll be available on Zoom. Same link. Okay. Have a great day, guys.